So hello everybody, Merry Christmas to you, Happy Holidays, welcome to the Red Clay Music Foundry. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. We really appreciate you being here. It's an honor to have Shawnee doing these little weekends with Shawnee. We called them, what did we call them, Corey? Sundays with, what? A month of Sundays, that's what we called them, because we did it at 3 different months, and it was always on Sunday at 5 o'clock, and we called them a month of Sundays. And I'm so confused because I don't think it's Sunday, but you know what? It ends with Y, and I have a drink every day that ends with Y, so it may be Sunday. I'm not sure, but it's anyway, we're here tonight, and I'm glad you guys are here. Shawnee is one of the best performance songwriters that I have ever known. He crafts a great song, and he presents it well, and you get to be a little lucky this evening because in his big shows, he doesn't always get to tell the stories behind them, but he'll tell you some stories this evening, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. He's got some merch out front. Don't forget, Christmas is right around the corner. We'll still be saying that in January and February because we try to get people to buy the merch from the performers that come through here, but it really is right around the corner this week. So, and if you have so much fun you can't stand it, well, he'll be back next Tuesday as well. And that'll be the last one of the year. And then we're going to celebrate his birthday in March as we do every year, and I can't wait for that. And that'll be an experience that you won't forget if you come to that. I also need to right now sort of divert my attention from you folks in here and say hello to you folks watching online. Thank you so much. We're on a live stream at EOP Live on YouTube, and we appreciate you being there. If you'll notice, there's a blue bar at the top of your screen that says tip jar, and it's not going to piss anybody off. If y'all put a lot of money in that this evening, that'd be okay. We'd appreciate it. But thanks for tuning in. You do have time to send a smoke signal out to some of your friends or neighbors or hell, even your enemies. We don't care who tunes in. Just tell them to tune in, and we would love to have them. There's a bunch of songs on that channel, on that EOP Live channel, but this is a live stream. You're seeing this just as it's happening. So welcome to you, and thank you for coming to the live stream. And you guys, I can't tell you how it touches us for y'all to be here on a Tuesday night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I do love me some Shawn Mullins, and I'd also love for y'all to sound like you're about 1,000 people right now and give a nice welcome to Shawn Mullins.
I was just talking to a fellow out in the lobby who went to North Georgia with me, and it got me thinking about Jay Drummonds, who is a buddy of mine there, and we wrote songs together. And I'll start with one we wrote together here. It's one of the first songs I ever wrote. Joshua was an old man, his beard like mountain snow, and when I was a boy, we'd have jam sessions. I'd sneak off to old Sharp Top, with my guitar I would go, when I should have been at school learning my lessons. And he'd sip a little moonshine, and I'd smoke a corncob pipe. We'd pick all day until my fingers bled. Right around supper time, I'd run home in the night, just in time to get a whooping from my dad. My friend Josh would tell me, he'd say, son, picking won't pay the rent. So I set out to prove him wrong in time. I don't guess I can recall all the hours that I spent just beating on this old flat top of mine. And me and my friend Joshua, Lord, we must have played them all. And I got where I could put the old man to shame, or so I thought. I don't guess it ever seemed to bother Josh at all. He still loved to pick 'em just the same. Hey, hey. Whoa, way back when he was 65 and I was 10. And I will never be as free again. Whoa, way back when. The summers flew by quickly, you know, and Josh and I spent our time writing words to songs, memories from his past. He'd tell me about the way it was, and I'd try to find the perfect rhyme. I still can't believe how we wrote our song so fast. And I never knew an old man could be so full of life. The love we had was so hard to explain. I remember how the tears fell when he spoke of his late wife. And I'd give him my 6-string to ease his pain. Whoa, whoa, way back when he was 65 and I was 10. And I will never be as free again. On his cabin door, and I knocked and knocked, but Joshua never came. And I still remember how he lay there on the floor, and I went home crying in the rain, that North Georgia rain. And I will never be as free again. Whoa, whoa, way back when he was 65 and I was only 10. I will never be as free again. Oh, way back when. Oh, way back when. Oh, way back when. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I used to live behind the infirmary in a farmhouse back there that's no longer there. Last time I was up there, it wasn't anyway. They might have built it back, but I don't think so. And it was about 150, maybe 200-year-old farmhouse, and it was a big 2-story house that Farmer Hood rented out. And he and his wife lived in the little house next door. And this was right outside the Price Memorial. If you went across the street there, kind of catty-cornered. In Dahlonega, Georgia. And Jay and I started that song on the porch of Farmer Hood's rental house there, and then we finished it on the banks of the Chestatee. And just great memories come from that time for me, some of the best times of my life. And I had such a great time up there. It's a great place to go to school. And I needed it. I needed discipline too. So it was good for me. And but it was funny. I remember being a cadet up there, and I did okay up there as a cadet. I don't remember ever having a demerit, but I think my cadre were easy on me to a degree, because I remember one inspection we had in the morning. You'd have 2 inspections during the week and 2 PT sessions. So you'd have, maybe Tuesday and Thursday you'd have a morning inspection very early, where the sergeants and the captain and all those guys come in into each room of the freshmen and they do all the rooms, but the freshmen really had it hard there, and they called us frogs. And I remember I didn't ever have my inspection drawer right. In fact, I just had it stuffed full of clothes. So all my drawers that were in one big thing were just stuffed full of clothes and whatever else I could stuff in there to get ready for inspection, hoping that they wouldn't pull the drawers open, right? One morning, Captain Davis came in, and he tried to open up my top inspection drawer, and it wouldn't even budge. And I remember the platoon sergeant got up behind him, and they locked arms, and they both tried, But I don't know. I figured I'd be walking tours for that, but I didn't. They were pretty easy on me. I had a great time, man, up there. I wrote this one with my friend Chuck Cannon, and one morning I woke up with the chorus of this song stuck in my head, and I wonder where it had come from. I didn't think I'd written it. So it's the only thing I ever wrote in my sleep, I guess. And I played it for Chuck and sang it for him when we were doing a show in Asheville at the Great Eagle. And he loved it. He said, "Man, have you finished that?" And I said, "No, I just woke up the other morning with it in my head." And he said, "Well, man, let me in on that one, please." So we wrote the verses together, called Light You Up. I just want to light you up, light you up like a fire, baby. I just want to turn you on and take you higher. And everybody's got a flat screen. Everybody's got to be seen. Everybody wanna be famous. Ain't nobody gonna blame us. Everybody wants the real deal. Everybody wants to cop a good feel. Everybody want more money. Everybody wants a taste of your honey. I just want to light you up like a fire. I just want to turn you on, baby. Turn you on and take you high. Everybody wants to pick your guitar. Everybody wanna ride in that fast car. Everybody wants a puff of your pipe dream. Everybody wanna lick of your ice cream. Yeah, the preacher wanna tell you how to live right. Your mama and your daddy got you uptight. Your lover gonna go and pick another fight. I just wanna keep you up all night. I just want to light you up like a fire, like a fire. I just want to turn you on and take you higher. Yeah, this old world can bring you down and turn your smile into a frown, break your heart and make you sad, drive you stark, raving mad. But I just want to light you up, baby, like a fire. I just want to turn you on, turn you up, and take you higher. And I just want to light you up like a fire. I just want to turn you on, and take you high. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Writing with Chuck Cannon is a lot of fun because he has all the available rhymes in his head already. He's written about 2,000 songs. For many years, he'd write 3 songs a day when he was in Nashville. And so they're just there. And it's kind of like having a rhyming dictionary sitting there next to you. And not just that, but that's one of the things it's like. And I remember when we were working on the verses, I remember saying, how about everybody wants a puff of your pipe dream? And he goes, yeah, and everybody wants a lick of your ice cream. It was like that, so fast, you know. I was like, yeah, we just started laughing. So much fun to write with him. You know, many years ago, I worked my way out from Atlanta, and in the early '90s, and eventually I started getting out west and playing in Portland and Seattle and San Francisco and Los Angeles, and the first place I played in Portland was a tiny little place called Cafe Lena. It was a coffee house, and it was played there for tips, and I was there for a couple of days, so I ended up deciding to play on the street corner as well to make some extra bucks. And it's one of those, back then anyway, it was one of those towns where you could do that. And what I didn't know is that you had to have a license to do it. And so it didn't last very long for me, and before a police officer came over and said, you know, you got to have a license. There were all these street musicians and performers lined up all up and down. And I ended up meeting a guy there on Pioneer Square. His name was Frank, and he was an old Vietnam vet. And he drew caricatures of people, you know, like the big heads. You know, you see caricatures that look a lot like the person, but it's got an extra large head. And that's what Frank did. He was really good at it. And I remember Frank and I shared a beer and a corn dog there on the steps of Pioneer Square, and I got to hear how he came to be there. And he got there in 1969, and this was probably 1993, so he had already been there many years in the area and didn't have a place of his own. I think sometimes he would stay with friends, sometimes he would stay in a shelter, and he'd come back different from the war than he was one of the unlucky ones that mentally he wasn't able to kind of cope with society. And he told me all about meeting a hippie girl in the summer of '69 there, right there in downtown Portland, and she ended up breaking his heart. But years later, I ran into Frank again with my friend Patrick Blanchard. We were playing at a big theater there, and I wanted to show Patrick where I'd played before, you know, like how I got my start there. And we ran into Frank and he didn't remember me, I don't think. But it inspired this song, and Patrick and I penned it together. It's called Sunshine. Well, Frank don't mind the rain. He kind of digs the sound. But Portland in November can sometimes get you down when you're standing in a doorway trying to keep out of the cold, and no one's looking your way. You got no bills to fold. Well, Frank, he don't like begging, but he could use a buck or two. Get a bed down at the mission, maybe sleep a whole night through, and dream about Maria, a girl that he once knew. We all need a little sunshine. We all need a little sunshine. Everybody needs a little sunshine. Too many days, dark and gray. We need a little sunshine. Well, Frank touched down at Pioneer Square, June of '69. He thumbed here up the West Coast to get the war off of his mind. That's where he met Maria, and she made him feel so fine, singing, we all need a little sunshine. Yes, he did. She all need a little sunshine. All right, everybody needs a little sunshine. Love was free, so was she, singing in the sunshine, sweet sunshine, yeah. Frank wakes up at sunrise, and he hears a distant train. He finds a piece of cardboard in the alley by the drain, and he writes his message black and bold, and remembers why he came here. We all need a little sunshine. We all need a little sunshine. Everybody needs a little sunshine. Can't take another day. Dark and gray. We need a little sunshine. A little sunshine. Just a little sunshine. Everybody needs it, baby. We all need a little sunshine. Well, Frank don't mind the rain. He kinda digs the sound. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate that. I wrote this one with Matthew Kaler, and we put it on the Honeydew record years ago, around 2008. It's a local story in Atlanta that was pretty tragic. A little old lady by the name of Katherine Johnson, I think she was 89. She may have been a little older than that, but she was definitely elderly, and she kept a pistol under her mattress. And the Atlanta police got a bad, they basically were told the wrong house to do a drug raid in. And when they kicked open her door, she thought she was being robbed. And so she reached for the gun and started shooting, and of course they killed her, and it was a terrible tragedy. And I wish they'd gotten the person that had told the cops about the wrong house. And gotten the right house. But anyway, we wrote this tune after knowing about that story. Well, old Miss Johnston, she lived all alone on the sorry side of town. Broke down cars and burglar bars on the windows and the doors, in case danger comes around. Sitting in her yellow kitchen, listening to bad news on her AM radio. Used to be Louis Armstrong, then Martin Luther King. Where did everybody go? And out the window where her garden was, it's not safe to go outside. Poor Miss Johnston in the eye of the storm was the safest place to hide. Yeah, life's a gamble for the broken and the weak, dealing with the gangbangers and the drugs. The winos weave and amble, yeah, and they shuffle on down the street, steering clear of all the thugs. And now my city hangs her head in shame. You can't tell the truth from all the lies. I know everything changed forever, and everything stayed the same on the night Miss Johnston died. Hey, hey. Thanks, y'all. may have heard this story before. I try not to repeat the stories a whole lot. Certain performers will kind of rehearse what they're going to say, and I've never found that very entertaining, not for me anyway. I get bored with myself if I do that. But I will tell this one because it's one of those stories that kind of keeps coming up in my own psyche and in my memories. My grandfather was a railroad man for Southern Railway, and my dad also worked for Southern Railway, and so did my brother-in-law. So it was a big railroad family, and my grandpa was a switchman, and his handle was Red Mullins. And he worked out at Inman Yards for many years. He retired after, I don't know, 25 or 30 years. He was a hard man and a beer-drinking man, a snuff-dipping man. And he always had Jimmy Rogers records in the house, which I loved. And between Jerry Clower and Jimmy Rogers, we always, we had great entertainment there. And now Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas dinners over there were always kind of weird because Granddad Layton was a union organizer right after the Second World War. He helped to unionize the railroad in the South. And my dad worked his way up to being a labor relations officer. So they were basically enemies. And so the Thanksgiving dinners, I remember the arguments were just hellish, you know. And my dad would finally go, all right, it's time to head them up and move them out. And we'd all get all the kids, and we'd go back to Atlanta. And then, you know, it might be 4 or 5 years before we did another Thanksgiving. Early on, Dad had the job as a timekeeper at Southern Railway, but he also worked at Rich's downtown department store, back when that was still a thing, with the pink pig on top of the building and all that. And he worked in the audio-visual department back in the late 60s and early 70s, back when they sold records and you know, stereo systems, televisions, things like that. And I always wondered how we got this great record collection at the house. And my sister, years ago, after my parents had passed away, she basically told me that Dad had taken those records home, and as well as the stereo we had. And we had this great reel-to-reel player, one of those early Sony reel-to-reel players, and that's how we all started recording. My sister and my brother and I, we would play with that recorder and that microphone. And this is a tune that was on a Johnny Cash record that my dad had brought home, and I loved this song from the time I was little. We had just a great collection of all types of music in the house, even though we were basically not dirt poor, but we weren't well off, except for that record collection and that stereo system. It's a song by Gene Ritchie, and Johnny Cash covered it, and many people have done it over the years. It's really a classic folk song. Gene Ritchie was a coal miner's daughter, just like Loretta Lynn. When I was a curly-headed baby, my daddy set me down on his knee. He said, son, you go to school and you learn your letters. Don't you be no dusty miner boy like me. I was born and raised at the mouth of the Hazard Holler, where the coal carts rolled and rumbled past my door. Yeah, but now they stand in a rusty row all empty, 'cause the LNN don't stop here anymore. Well, I used to think my daddy was a black man. He had script enough to buy the whole company store. Oh, but now he goes to town with empty pockets. Lord, his face is white as the February snow. carts rolled and rumbled past my door. Oh, but now they're standing a rusty row all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore. No, no, no. Last night I dreamed I went down to the office to get my payday like I done before. Them old kudzu vines, they was growing right through the doorway. There was leaves and grass growing right up through the floor. I was born and raised at the mouth of the Hazard Holler, where the coal carts rolled and rumbled past my door. Oh, but now they stand in a rusty row, all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore. Oh, I was born and raised at the mouth of the Hazard Holler, where the coal carts rolled and rumbled past my door. Oh, but now they stand in a rusty row, all empty, 'cause the L&N don't stop here anymore. Oh, I said the L&N don't stop here anymore. No, the L&N don't stop here anymore. Thank you. Thanks a lot, y'all. Appreciate that. So another record that was in the house that really was probably the most inspirational record for me from the time I was a toddler, and it still is today, which I find really interesting, just in my own thing. It's like, wow, this same song has kind of followed me throughout my life, and I loved this song before I even knew what it meant. And but Dad had this record, and he loved Chris Christopherson so much, and so it got played all the time. And I loved the album a lot, but this one particular song really always moved me, and I think it really helped to shape the way I do music as far as kind of this, whatever it is that I do. I think this song almost is kind of the one song soundtrack influence in a way of kind of how I came to be this kind of artist. There were a lot of other influences, of course. I mean, I love all the soul singers, and when I was 7 or 8 years old, I got into Kiss a lot, that band Kiss, and I loved Kiss, and but I started wearing my mom's high heel shoes around, and trying to make my face painted like Kiss, and my dad burned my Kiss 8 tracks. So, and he wasn't a religious man. He just so, and that was a quick that was a quick phase anyway. Once I started playing guitar, I kind of started getting more into the songwriters and that kind of thing. But this one song by Chris Christopherson has always stuck with me, and I love it so much to this day, and I always play it when I can and can remember to. It's called To Beat the Devil. Well, it was wintertime in Nashville, down on Music City Road. And I was looking for a place to get myself out of the cold, to warm the frozen feeling that was eating at my soul, and keep the chilly wind off my guitar. You see, my thirsty wanted whiskey, my hungry needed beans. But it had been a month of paydays since I'd heard that eagle scream. So with a stomach full of empty and a pocket full of dreams, I left my pride and stepped inside a bar. Actually, I guess you'd call it a tavern. Cigarette smoke to the ceiling and sawdust on the floor. Friendly shadows. I saw that there was just one old man sitting at the bar. And in the mirror, I could see him checking me and my guitar. He turned and said, "Come up here, boy. Show us what you are." I said, "I'm dry." He bought me a beer. He nodded at my guitar and he said, "It's a tough life, ain't it?" I just looked at him. He said, "You ain't making any money, are you?" I said, "You've been reading my mail." He just smiled and said, "Let me see that guitar, boy. I got something you ought to hear." Then he laid it on me. If you waste your time talking to the people who don't listen to the things that you are saying, who do you think's gonna hear? And if you should die explaining how the things that they complain about are things they could be changing, who do you think's gonna care? There were other lonely singers in a world turned deaf and blind, who were crucified for what they tried to show. And their voices have been scattered by the swirling winds of time, 'cause the truth remains that no one wants to know. Well, the old man was a stranger, but I'd heard his song before. Back when failure had me locked out on the wrong side of the door. Back when no one stood behind me, put my shadow on the floor. And lonesome was more than a state of mind. You see, the devil haunts a hungry man. If you don't want to join him, you gotta beat him. Now, I ain't saying I beat the devil, but I drank his beer for nothing, and then I stole his song. And you still can hear me singing to the people who don't listen to the things that I am saying, praying someone's gonna hear. And I guess I'll die explaining how the things that they complain about are things they could be changing, hoping someone's gonna care. I was born a lonely singer, and I'm bound to die the same. But I've gotta feed the hunger in my soul. And if I never have a nickel, I won't ever die ashamed, 'cause I don't believe that no one wants to know. So Chris Christopherson, thank you. I got to know Chris finally after my Souls Core record. I had recorded Sunday Morning Coming Down on that record, and it blew up and went almost double platinum in the U.S., and it went platinum in Australia and gold in Canada, and so he started seeing some money from that. But the way we actually first met was at the Martin Luther King March in Atlanta around 1994. I was there to hear a friend speak, and I knew that he was speaking there as well and playing a couple of songs. And my friend said that I should bring one of my CDs, and at the time, the record that I had out was called Big Blue Sky, and it was really the first album of songs that I was proud of. And I felt like I was starting to find my voice, and so I brought it with me, and I wrote my phone number on it, and I ended up catching him at the end of the march, and kind of tapping him on the back, and I said, "Hey, Chris, I'm a songwriter, and I just wanted to know if you wouldn't mind listening to this." And I could tell that he didn't really want to listen to it. He was kind of like, and I said, "Oh, that's okay." And he goes, "Oh, no, give it to me. And he goes, "I don't know if here's a pocket," and he stuck it in his inside breast pocket of his leather jacket and walked down the street there, down Auburn Avenue. And I never thought I'd hear from him, but I guess a couple of months went by, and I was at home trying to write a song, and the phone rang, and I picked it up, and on the other end of the line was Chris Christopherson, and I couldn't believe it. In fact, when he said, is Shawn Mullins there? I said, "This is he," and he said, "Well, this is Chris Christopherson." And I said, "Bullshit." And he said, "No, it's really me, man." So it was an awkward beginning there. But he just had such nice things to say about what I was doing. And he said, I don't have anything to offer you except for the fact that you should never quit. And you're a great songwriter, and you're an original thinker, and you just keep doing what you're doing. And that's all I wanted to say to you. I love this record. And I was like, wow, it blew my mind. And it really gave me some inspiration and confidence, of course, when one of your heroes, probably my biggest hero for sure, songwriting-wise, tells you that you're a good songwriter. So then later we ended up hanging out some in Hawaii at his home, and that was pretty cool to just swap songs with him, eat chili with him, and go watch his boy wrestle at the high school gym. And I remember I was trying out for movies at the time, which I was a little bit reluctant because I'd never really studied acting that much at all. And I love movies though, and an agent said that I should start, reading for films because I was somewhat known. And I read for a bunch of movies, never got a good part. So I was telling Chris that, man, this one casting director had called my agent, and she said that I had something. There was some talent there, but that I need to take some auditioning lessons because I get real nervous when the camera's on, and I don't know the lines yet and all that. And so I needed to take some lessons. And Chris just looked at me and he said, "That ain't a real good sign, man." He's probably right. It's 3 a.m. and the snakes have moved in. I'm playing to 4 drunks and me. But the beer is cold and the memories old, and the lights are so bright I can't see. And Lord, like a bell, and you're hollow like a dark, empty well. Lonesome, I know you too well. Now time, it stands still. Sometimes it spins like a wheel whenever I see her around. Oh, but she don't know, and I'll never show, 'cause there's too many eyes in this town. And lonesome, I know you too well. You're ringing my ears just like a bell, and you're hollow like a dark, empty well. Lonesome, I know you too well. And you're hollow like a dark, empty well. Oh, lonesome, I know you. Well, it's 3 a.m. and the snakes have moved in. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Well, over the COVID thing, I didn't write too much. I don't know, a lot of people, a lot of songwriters and musicians, they wrote songs and rehearsed their bands and all that. And I don't know, I kind of went inward a lot and just kind of was stuck in my own head for quite a bit of it. One of the things that popped out, though, I think there were 4 or 5 songs total that were written in those almost 2-year period. And I wrote one with Levi Lowry, which I like, and then my wife Amy could tell that I was worried about not only not being able to write, but the fact that I didn't have any gigs, because at the beginning of COVID, I don't know, it was like 60 shows total that got canceled, and so I only played maybe three or 4 times during that time, and they were outside drive-in type shows. And so I was trying to figure out how I was going to make a living and pay the bills, and she reads this guy named Napoleon Hill, who talks about old man worry, and how worry won't, really doesn't do you any good at all, of course, worrying about stuff. And she wrote a poem, and it's called Old Man Worry. And she let me read it. And as soon as I read it, a melody came to my ear, and chords and all that. It just kind of fell into my lap from her beautiful poem. It was simple, but it said exactly what it needed to say. I'll do that one for you. And Old Man Worry. Well, old man worry, no, you ain't no friend of mine. Though you sat with me through sleepless nights, You were always laughing at my decline. Old man, worry. No, you ain't no friend of mine. Old man, worry. You wear a clever dark disguise. You fill my life with hopelessness, telling me all those wicked lies. Oh man, worry. You wear a clever dark disguise. Yes, you do. But I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry. Oh man, worry no more. Said I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry about your worry. Oh man, worry. You've been a faithful enemy, but it's time for me to say goodbye. I gotta set my sweet soul free. Oh man, worry. You've been a faithful enemy. I said I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry. Oh man, worry no more, no more. Oh, I'm not gonna worry. I'm not gonna worry about your worry. I'm not gonna worry no more. I'm just gonna lay around the house for a year and a half and watch Netflix. All 9 seasons of Little House on the Prairie. Oh man, word. Yeah, we really did watch all 9 seasons of Little House on the Prairie, which I didn't do the first time when I was a kid. From time to time, I'd see the show. It came on Thursdays, from what I remember. But we watched all 9 seasons, man. That was a heavy show. It really was. It really was. The song was started in Adairsville, Georgia, actually Folsom, Georgia, which is a tiny little, not really a town at all anymore, but it's where my grandmother was raised. She was raised on the property that is now Barnsley Gardens. And yeah, she was a sharecropper with her family there. At one time there was a big, well, you see the plantation house there, so there was a very rich family, and then there were a bunch of little shacks. And my grandmother, Darcy, and her family lived in one of the shacks, and they picked and chopped cotton and did all that. And when she was 13, she decided to get the hell out of there. And she somehow made her way down to Atlanta. And eventually she got a job at the Sears factory, which is now Ponce City Market. And she worked there when she was, I think, starting around age 15. But the song started there because I was doing a gig at Barnsley Gardens, and I didn't put it together at all. And not too long after that show, I went to see my grandmother, and she was 94 at the time. And I told her that about that, and she knew that it had turned into what it is now, which is like a big event area and event space and place. You know, they've got nice cottages and this and that. And I said, she said, "Are the shacks still there?" And I said, "Well, there is one shack there. I think they've got it there just for looks." And I had actually looked at it, but I had no idea. I had not put it together. And on my way home from that gig, though, I saw for the first time in my life, being a Georgia native and been all over the South, where I've seen cotton after it's been chopped and picked or whatever, and you'll see the remnants on the brown stalks. You'll see little bits of cotton, right? I had never seen it in bloom. And I saw a cotton field in bloom at this particular time. And I didn't know what it was. I actually didn't put it together that it was cotton. That's how far removed I was from my own roots that were just my dad and then my grandmother. And I got to thinking about that, and a melody came to me, and a chord progression came. And I went up to Nashville and visited my friend Chuck Cannon. And about that time, the Ferguson riots started happening. And we started talking about that and this song that I had kind of in my head. I didn't have really lyrics for. I knew the word cotton needed to be in it. And the song became bigger than just my roots. But it's still important, I think, and I love this song. And it used to be called Ferguson, but I feel like that's not the right title. So I like to call it The Same Shade of Red. I'll do it for you here. All of ye fallen fathers and mothers, I hear you calling from deep in your graves. Songs about Jesus, songs about freedom, shackles and crosses, and the way blood behaves. Sailed the great ocean, sold down the river, white fields of cotton and grain fields of cane. The sweat from my bodies, the tears of our children, washed in the blood, and the promised land rain. Now brother fought brother on ground we now hallow. Sad, sad hallelujahs the angels did sing, for promises buried in fields that lay fallow. The bell is too broken 'cause mama's still crying for the dying and dead, and the war rages on, and the whole thing is rotten, and the blood we all bleed is the same shade of red. Thank you. I'll be right back. I got to grab another water. Y'all still here? Thank you. I wrote this one a few years before COVID, but it started to make a lot more sense once COVID hit. To me, it kind of became timely. And remember when people were fighting over toilet tissue in the Walmart and all that? That's when this song started to, I was like, that's what this song is about, man. We're in it. We're there. I wrote it with Panda, my good buddy that plays bass and sings with me, and it's the only song we've ever written together, but I love it. We were down at 30A Songwriters Festival, and we wrote this tune together while we were doing laundry. And we had the TV on and a newspaper on the counter, and the TV was on the news, and I was fed up with watching the news, and I said, turn the channel, man, there's nothing but bad news on. And so Panda Tom Ryan, he changed the channel, and it was the Doomsday Preppers show was on, and I got a kick out of that, and I got some good ideas actually. I immediately started writing. He and I both started writing, and after that show, we turned the channel, and it was Naked and Afraid, survival stuff, right? And then eventually later we watched the Walking Dead. And so all of those things started to kind of come into the song. And I'm not really a prepper, although sometimes I think that I should be. Especially at the beginning of COVID, I remember I definitely stocked up heavy. And we had like a room, that had all kinds of stuff. And all that stuff, we've ate it now. It's all gone, but it's funny. I mean, I had like potted meat and weird shit like that I would, like Vienna sausages, I used to eat that when we'd go camping when we were kids. We'd put my dad called them viennas. He'd go, let's put some viennas on the fire, but I ended up eating them all. I gained 30 pounds during COVID. It's unbelievable. But anyway, this song is called the Pre-Apocalyptic Blues, and it goes like this. Well, you can read it in the papers, watch it on the news. Everybody's got the pre-apocalyptic blues. You better be ready when the shit goes down. get you a buggy full of rice and beans, a year's supply of 2-ply for your composting latrine, so you'll be ready when the shit goes down. Now don't hesitate, don't procrastinate, or you'll all be running scared. There ain't no second chances for the bravery impaired, 'cause you know there's a couple of commies hiding underneath your bed, and the zombie's gonna eat up all the brains in your head. I got a Rambo knife with a compass on it and a ballistic bug-out bag. I got an AK-47, about 100 extra mags. I'm gonna be ready, yeah, when the shit goes down. Well, COVID, Corona, it's a terrible disease. You say you ain't worried, and I say, hunky please, you better be ready. When the shit goes down, by my jacuzzi, there's an Uzi and an RPG. I got a Stinger missile mounted on my wife's SUV. They won't get to me, no matter who they are. I got landmines buried all over my yard, 'cause I read it in the papers, y'all. I watched it on the news, and now I got the cryptic pre-apocalyptic blues. I'm gonna be ready when the shit goes down. Will you be ready when the shit goes down? Thank you. All right. Thanks for singing along on that. I've lost count of the times I've given up on you, but you make such a beautiful wreck, you do. Yeah, there's a tavern on the corner called the Milky Way, and you look so at home there, it makes me afraid. And at the dark end of this bar, what a beautiful wreck you are. When you go too far, a beautiful wreck you are, baby. Now all the plans that you had from 7 years ago, like all the promises you made, I watched them come and go. You put your keys in the car, but it would not drive, yeah. With your hands on the wheel, looking barely alive, yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm still sitting here waiting on the passenger side, you to make up your mind, for you to make up your mind. At the dark end of this bar, what a beautiful wreck you are. When you go too far, beautiful wreck you are, yeah. What a beautiful, such a beautiful wreck you are. What a beautiful, such a beautiful wreck. I've lost count of the times I've given up on you, but you make such a beautiful wreck, you do. Yeah, you make such a beautiful wreck, you do. You make such a beautiful wreck, you do. At the dark end of this bar, what a beautiful wreck you are. When you go too far, beautiful wreck you are. What a beautiful, such a beautiful, beautiful wreck you are. What a beautiful, such a beautiful. Thanks, y'all. There is a house down in New Orleans they call the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor girl. God, I know I'm one. My mother was a tailor. And she sewed these new blue jeans. And my sweetheart was a gambler, Lord, drinking down in New Orleans. The only thing that a gambler needs is a suitcase and a trunk. And the only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drunk. He filled his glasses up to the brim, and he passed the cards around. And the only pleasure that he gets out of his own life is when he rambles from town to town. So go ahead. that they call the rising sun. It's one foot on the platform and the other foot on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans. I'm gonna wear that ball and chain. There is a house down in New Orleans they call the rising sun. And it's been the ruin of many a poor girl. Me, oh God, I'm one. I got one more for you tonight. I'm going to unplug this one, Shalom. By the way, I want to thank Shalom and Corey up there in the mission control, working the sound and lights tonight and every night. They do a great job. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll do that one for you, man. Do you care? I'm definitely going to do that. Okay, all right. So I got two more for you.
Can we keep going?
Where'd you drive from? 6 hours. Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for making the drive. Glad to have you, man. Did they say who? Oh, yeah, the boathouse. All right, plugging back in, Shalom. All right. Montgomery, man. Yeah. I love it there. I think that's my favorite Alan Jackson song is Midnight in Montgomery. That's a damn great song. And this is pretty much a true story. As songwriters, oftentimes we make a lot of stuff up in a song, but this one pretty much happened this way. And a lot of people don't know who this guy is that I mentioned in this song, this writer, Richard Brautigan. I didn't grow up reading it. He's the last of the beat poets, in a way. They call him the last of the beat poets. And I got into him back in the early 90s. A friend of mine passed on a book called Revenge of the Lawn by Richard Brautigan. And really funny stuff. It's funny and it's sad all in one. But he had a certain look about him. He was a trout fisherman. He loved trout fishing, and he always wore kind of a big floppy hat, and he had a bunch of flies in this hat because he trout fish wherever he went. He was from Washington State, I believe, originally. But the guy in this story, when I met him, I actually had thought I'd run into the ghost of Richard Brodigan because he looked just like him. It was bizarre. Big handlebar mustache and the hat with the fishing flies in it. And I met him on the cliffs of Twin Rocks, Oregon. He was sitting on his bedroll looking just like Richard Brodigan. And I thought he was an old man. He wasn't but 37. He said he'd been riding trains for 15 years and drawing portraits to keep his belly full of beers. It looked to me like he died and missed the plane to heaven. But he was a nice old guy for a younger man. He had a bottle of Mad Dog he held tightly in his hand. And he waved it around a lot, trying to make his point. And I listened as he told his tales of wine and women and county jails. We finished off that bottle, smoked a half a joint. And he said, I came here to watch the sun disappear into the ocean. It's been years since I smelled this salty sea. He turned that bottle up and down. He saw me lost, he saw me found. He said, I don't know what I've been looking for. Well, I told him I too had been traveling around, just living out of my van from town to town to town, and playing for tips and whatever records I could move. I said, I don't reckon I'll be making it big, man. It's hard to get rich off a coffee house gig. He said, yeah, man, but ain't it a blessing to do what you want to do? I told him, yes, I pulled out here to watch the sun disappear into the ocean. It's been years since I smelled the salty sea. We turned another bottle up and down. I saw it lost and I saw it found. And I said, I don't know what I've been looking for. Maybe me. I said, it's getting kind of late. I better be heading down this interstate. Can I give you a lift? I'm heading to San Francisco Bay. He said, nope, I think I'm gonna sit right here and rest. Maybe wait on the Tokyo, Montana Express. I might just lay here and dream my life away. Sit right here and watch the sun disappear into the ocean. It's been years, my Lord, now. It's been years. I'm gonna turn my bottle up and down. You can see me lost, you can see me found. I met him on the cliffs of Twin Rocks, Oregon. He was sitting on that bedroll looking just like Richard Brodigan. Just like him. so nice to me tonight, and I've really enjoyed it. I hope everyone has a great holiday. Merry Christmas to you, and I'm going to be doing one more of these next Tuesday, and I'm going to throw in some Christmas songs. Eddie and I may even do one together. She grew up with the children of the stars in the Hollywood Hills and the Boulevard. Her parents threw big parties, you know, everyone was there. Hung out with folks like Dennis Hopper, Bob Seger, Sonny and Cher. She feels safe now in this bar on Fairfax. And from the stage I can tell she can't let go and she can't relax. And just before she hangs her head to cry, I sing to her a lullaby. Sing everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye, rockabye, and everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye, rockabye, rockabye. She still lives with her mom outside the city, down that street about a half a mile. And all her friends tell her that she's so pretty. She'd be a whole lot prettier, you know, if she'd smile once in a while. But you know, even her smile, it looks just like a frown. She's seen her share of devils in this angel town, and everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye, rockabye, and everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye. Told her, I said, I ain't so sure about this place. It's hard to play a gig in this town and keep a straight face. It seems like everybody's got a plan. It's kind of like Nashville with a tan. Y'all sing. Rockabye, yeah. Rockabye, yeah. Everything's gonna be alright. Rockabye, rockabye. Keep it say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Thank y'all so much. You've been so good to me tonight. Thank you.